What's going on, YouTube world? This is Jay, and Monday Night Raw just got done, so you know what that means. It's time for my weekly Monday Night Raw review, so I won't keep too much of your time. Gonna try to keep it short and sweet and to the point. So, with that being said, let's just get into it. First off, to start off the show, Vince comes out and he's like, blah, blah, blah. Roman comes out and he's like, yo, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to do what I want. You're not my boss. You came out here last year and said the fans are the bosses now, so you're not my boss. I'm going to do whatever I want. And Vince was like, no, 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 you're not going to do that because it would open up the floodgates. And um, as soon as he said that, Daniel Bryan comes out. Whoa, where did he come from? And he's basically just like, oh, Roman, since you're out here, I figured I'd come back to Raw. And I've been away the last month in solitude trying to figure out what happened to me and why I lost to Kofi. And you lost to Kofi, Daniel Bryan, because Kofi was the better man that night. That's why you lost to Kofi. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out. Side note, as Roman was coming out, Michael Cole makes the greatest call of what did he say? Oh, uh, he says Roman is here as advertised on Monday Night Yard. Yard. Not Raw. Yard. And basically mixing up Roman Reigns' yard and Monday Night Raw. And I just thought that was hysterical because he said yard with such conviction, even though he knew he was fucking it up. Like, because he was like, yard, like he knew he was fucking it up, and he was like, it's too late to go back now. Just say it with conviction, And I'm pretty sure that's probably what you're taught to do. He is a real journalist. He has a lot of experience, so I could imagine they're probably taught, if you're gonna fuck it up, just fuck it up with conviction, Whatever, man. Kofi comes out and he says, blah, blah, blah. Daniel Bryan, I'll beat you again. Blah, blah, blah. And as all this is going on, Vince says, oh, I just thought of it. The wild card rule. 3 people from SmackDown are allowed to come over to Raw, and 3 people from Raw are allowed to go over to SmackDown. And all the wrestlers just look at him like, Vince, you didn't just think of that, dude. Like, we're doing that with or without your permission. But if you want to think you're a genius, and Vince is like, yeah, I'm a genius. I'm a genius. I'm a genius. People love it, And I really love what Vince was doing, man, because everybody online will be like, oh, Vince is delusional, he's out of touch, yada, yada, yada. Like, he thinks he's the shit, but he's not. He's stupid, like, his genius is God. And the way he was playing it up, like, he didn't think of anything, but he's going to pretend like he did. Like, that's how the fans perceive him in real life. Like, he'll take the credit for everything, even though he didn't do nothing, So it's like he played that up. He played that thought up of the fans, And I just really loved it. I mean, Vince is just great at what he does. So anyways, he makes the match. AJ Styles and Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley and Baron Corbin. Styles and Rollins try one-upping each other in the beginning of the match. You could see, like, one person would do some, the other one would do the same thing. Then one would dive over the top rope, the other one would dive over the top rope. Friendly competition amongst people. AJ Styles is challenging for the Universal title that Seth Rollins holds. So, God, I took a lot of notes. Sorry. And then Lashley hits AJ Styles with what I like to call the Big E spear, because Big E always does this spear through the middle ropes, and it's crazy looking, especially since Big E's a bigger dude, So Bobby Lashley does that, and what happens? What happens? AJ Styles hits the ground so hard, I thought he broke his neck. And then Lashley, with his big bulky self, like hits the apron with his quad really hard, and I'm like, jeez, like, oh my god, it was like a car crash. Looked brutal. I don't know how AJ got up, and I don't know how Lashley was still walking, because that looked like it really hurt his legs. Anyways. AJ hits the phenomenal forearm on Seth Rollins accidentally. It looked like he was going for Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin dodges out of the way, hits Seth Rollins. But then AJ Styles doesn't look like he cared that much that he accidentally hit Seth Rollins. And he's just like, bah, I'm out of here. And he leaves. Just leaves. Seth Rollins gets up all mad, turns around. Baron Corbin, end of days. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins loses. Sami Zayn comes out next, asking the fans what they would like to complain about tonight. He's like, you already got a World Championship title match later and all this other stuff, so what do you want to complain about tonight? Braun comes out, interrupts him, chases Sami Zayn all around the arena, and he ends up tossing him into a dumpster, and then a garbage truck ends up dumping the dumpster into the truck and driving away. So is Sami Zayn dead? I'm not sure. I'm sure he's not. And I'm sure he's just a little stanky. Lucha House Party squash local talent. Ricochet versus Robbie Roode with Ricochet's Money in the Bank spot on the line. A good match. Robbie looks good, which is good. And Ricochet won, which is better. So Ricochet keeps his Money in the Bank match. And I'm happy about that because I think he will be spectacular in that match. I could only imagine what he'll think of doing off of those ladders. Where was I? Oh, you see Ray and his son talking. Ray goes into the locker room, and I think he told his son to go get some water or something. Then you see Samoa Joe walking behind Dominic, Ray's son, like a great Samoan shark. Instead of a great white shark, he's a great Samoan shark. Dun-na, dun-na, like frickin' Jaws. And then we come back from commercial break, and Joe's like basically intimidating Dominic, saying, you know, I didn't like the way you came out to celebrate with your dad, humiliating me, and, you know, tell your dad that I can't wait to beat his ass at Money in the Bank. Lacey Evans invites the other Raw women to the ring, and her invite smelled like peach cobbler. And I thought that was fucking fantastic, because she's a sassy Southern belle, you know? So it's just like, perfect, dude. I love what they're doing with Lacey Evans. Love it. I'm sure I'm probably in the minority, but I usually am, and that's okay. Because the minority usually sees stuff that the majority doesn't. So, where was I? Oh, she squashes this girl, and then that's that. She basically, you know, tells everybody else, like, I'm gonna win. I have Money in the Bank. The Viking Raiders beat Ryder and Hawkins pretty quick, so I guess they'll get a title shot at Money in the Bank. Not too much to talk about in that match. You know, kind of just what you would expect. Up next, we have another episode of the Firefly Fun House. And it starts off with Mercy the Buzzer, and he's eating the stoned rabbit from last week. I can't remember its name, but the stoned rabbit was getting eaten by Mercy the Buzzard. And when asked about it, Mercy said he didn't want to believe in the bohemian ideology that stoned rabbit was trying to force him into. Yeah, that happened. That really happened. And Bray says it's okay and he could be forgiven. And on top of being forgiven, he's going to be rewarded with a picnic. And the camera pans out and you see all these kids just like this. Creepy. Creepy as shit. Creepy as shit I've ever seen. Not that I've ever seen, but it's really creepy. And totally dig it. And Bray always says at the end, like, you know, follow me and we'll shine together. You just have to let me in or something, you know? So it's like, I don't know if you really want to let them in, you know what I mean? Like, those kids looked like they were a little hooked up. Anyways, McIntyre versus Roman Reigns was next, and it was a good match. At one point, Drew does a reverse Alabama slam onto the apron, so Roman hit the apron face first. Like, and that looked fucking brutal. And, yeah, ow. McIntyre goes for a top rope something, and Roman hits a Superman punch. Drew barely kicks out. Reigns hit a spear, and at the count of 2, Shane McMahon and Elias run in, beat down Roman. Miz comes out with the chair. Shane runs away, but Elias holds Roman, and Drew hits a Claymore kick to further their feud. 2 hours and 17 minutes into the show, I realized Graves got a buzz cut. Sell out. I'm just kidding. He probably just got sick of tending to it. You know what I mean? Like, Graves is, probably near his 30s. He's probably just sick of, you know. I mean, if you're going to have longer hair or, you know, styled hair, you got to keep it up. And that takes time. You know what I mean? Maybe he was just like, screw it, dude, I'm done. You know? I don't know. Just realized, I don't know how long he's had that cut for. He might have had it since last week. I have no idea. And then Charlie Caruso gets Shane as he's running away from The Miz. And he runs down a flight of stairs through a door, and his limo's right there waiting for him. Miz attacks him. And I really liked the camera shot that they got. They were at, like, the top of the stairs. So it was looking down like a bird's eye view. And it was just really cool looking. Like, it was really different, and I dug it. And I kind of hope they kind of do some stuff like that more. Revival versus the Good Brothers. The Usos come out talking about a new product they made called Usi Hot instead of Icy Hot. And it's sweat activated. So the more you sweat, the hotter you get. Because the Revival likes to say they're the hottest tag team in the WWE. So the Usos made Usi Hot. And I'm assuming put it all on the inside of their gear and their jackets because the Revival just started going crazy. And one guy from the Revival had his jacket, and he was like, you know, doing it between, like, rub it in between his legs with his jacket like it was a bath towel or whatever, you know. They were waving their tights out, grinding their asses in the ring like they're a dog, you know. Like, dude, just weird stuff. And, like, I don't know if I should feel bad for them or not. By that I mean, I don't know if this is all part of some bigger plot, you know what I mean? Or if there's some real stuff going on backstage between the Revival and management. And they're like, yo, you know what, man? Like, because there's been rumors of them wanting to leave. I don't really get into rumors too much, but since, you know, this happened on Raw, there's been rumors of them wanting to leave or whatever, and WWE being like, no, we're going to extend your contracts because you were, you know, injured for 2 months or whatever. And then some kind of Twitter thing where they were like, you know, WWE, like, basically, or writers in WWE for WWE Online basically said, like, there might be more humiliation to come for the Revival. You know, so, like, I don't know if it's all just a thing to get so much compassion and sympathy from the fans towards the Revival that when they finally, you know, get a push or whatever, the fans will be fucking all in for it, you know what I mean? Or if, like I said, there's some real issues backstage. I don't know. It's not my business. And that's all I gotta say about that. It's not really my business if there is problems. Lars Sullivan comes out and destroys the conga line, slams a dude spine first on the top of the barricade. Like, that's gotta fucking hurt, man. Jeez. Like, how? Imagine being slammed spine first on the top of like a barricade. That would hurt real bad. Then he throws another guy ribs first into the ring post, and then he finishes off No Way Jose. Next up, and last but not least, we have Kofi Kingston versus D-Bry in a WrestleMania rematch for the WWE Championship. And it was a very good match, back and forth. There were suplexes, there was dives, there was submissions. At one point, Daniel Bryan had the craziest label lock on Kofi Kingston. Like, it was just wild. Just looked so painful. And but of course, Kofi Kingston wins in the end with a very sudden trouble in paradise for the 1, 2, 3, and Kofi Kingston is still your WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And that's the end of Raw, folks. That was the end of Raw. So I hope you liked this little breakdown, and yeah, until next time, folks, have a good night and peace.